One of the most controversial members of Congress, Republican Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia, usually draws the ire of Democrats, but now she's speaking out against some in her own party and coming out in favor of what Democrats demand to reopen the government, an extension of enhanced health care subsidies.
Congresswoman Greene, thank you for joining us here in the Situation Room. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start there. Let's start with the shutdown. So you voted for the short-term funding bill, but now you're talking about this health care issue. Help us better understand. Why now?
Well, actually, this is something I talked about when I first ran for Congress in 2020. Because I grew up in a construction company family.
That's such a funny statement. Just like, yeah, dude, you're the daughter of a real estate developer. Okay. That's such a funny way to, like, you make it seem like it's some blue collar thing, you know? Literally, one of your critics with his own stream and try to inflate the dog thing has got a cat scratch on his nose. Wonder how he got that. He literally hates cats. Ask honest people who know him law. I have no idea who you're talking about.
Bought that company after
but I kind of understand why
my parents, and
he would hate cats if he got scratched in the face.
The Affordable Care Act.
Yes, the Affordable Care Act. Our family's health insurance premium went from $800 a month to $2,400 a month. So I've known about this as a major problem for a long time. It's not just ACA recipients whose premiums are going to skyrocket very soon. It has been a disaster for many Americans across the board. And cost of living is so high now. Many of my constituents, many of my friends, and even my own children are finding health insurance to be extremely unaffordable and something that they are having to go without. So I think this is an incredibly important issue. I think it is a crisis. I don't think it's something to wear political party team jerseys on. I think it's something that we have to address and fix.
And it's very personal for you.
Very personal. It's affected my own life. And the Affordable Care Act was passed in 2010. So we're 15 years down the road, and the industry has changed drastically. Many companies dropped out of the market. We've seen doctors stop having their own practices.
I don't know what's going on, but it feels like a reverse Fetterman situation. Like, did they swap bodies or something? What happened? Her district is poor. So, hello? She's a Republican, and even Democrats don't even give a fuck about their poor districts. They care about Israel. So the very fact that she's like all of a sudden hitting a number on like a left populist flank on healthcare and protecting healthcare subsidies is pretty crazy.
And become hospital employees. We now have to import doctors because we don't have enough. Healthcare has drastically changed, and I'm one of those that gets real tired of political drama when it's not actually solving a problem. And this is such a crisis that I'm willing to say, okay, everyone, we have to do something about this. It shouldn't be something that we dangle the American people or military pay or all of these things. We shouldn't be dangling them back and forth. We have to fix it.
What are you hearing from your constituents right now? And do you have any regrets about voting for that short-term continuing resolution, that spending bill?
Thank you for that question. Number one, I am a Republican, and I support the president. I was very vocal about I didn't want to vote for a CR. I want to pass our appropriations. That's our constitutional duty, and I want to bring that taxpayer dollars back to my district. I work hard on that, so that was important to me. But I support the president, and I voted for the CR. Number two, what am I hearing from my constituents? It's great. We track all the calls that come into my office. About 60% of the calls coming in right now are calls of support and saying, yes, health insurance is a crisis. They're telling us stories about how they're already paying $2,000 a month with $10,000 deductibles. I'm getting phone calls from people that are saying if the ACA tax credits expire, they aren't going to be able to have health insurance. They're going to have to drop it. But I'm hearing from people on both sides, people already on the ACA and people that are already getting crushed by high health insurance premiums.
I want to ask you about this new Washington Post poll.
CR is a continuing resolution. I don't know, man. It's like kind of taking me out. It freaks me out a little bit. It's like seeing a baby speak perfect English. You know what I mean? Like straight out the womb. If you saw something like that, you'd be like, that's odd. That's a strange phenomenon. I don't know how to deal with it. And that's how I feel right now. Watching Marjorie Taylor Greene talking like this is very strange. And it is, actually freaking me out, even though this was literally one of my predictions for the year. Or was it last year? I think it was this year, right, chat? When I said Marjorie Taylor Greene is actually going to become like more of a normie adjacent Republican, but she's even outflanked my expectations. I think that was this year. Yeah. It's breaking your liberal brain, isn't it? No, this is nothing. This is unironically closer to a Marxist analysis than a liberal one, where I say that both parties in a bourgeois democracy do not represent the popular interests of the proletariat, and instead are just simply figureheads for capital, figureheads for the bourgeois. And therefore, when you do actually have someone, especially from the reactionary flank, and not even just like one of the members of the reactionary flank, but like straightforwardly one of the most right-wing in the reactionary flank, all of a sudden turn around and start talking about like the importance of healthcare and how Israel's doing a Holocaust and you know, stuff like that. It's just it's alarming. It kind of breaks my brain a little bit. I assume it's still indecent. It's cynical. It's probably you know, room reading, but it's not like she was incapable of reading the room in the past. Marxist Tito is green. That's what it is. Yeah, this is Marxist Tito is green. I don't know. I feel like I'm getting John Fetterman style stroked out by just simply watching her go through the motions here. Has something happened to this person recently? Recalling when MTG harassed Parkland school shooting survivors for advocating for stricter gun control and something about Jewish space lasers. Yeah, that's why. It's like, it's hard, man. It's hard for me to look at this and be like, wow, this is a sincere plea. Are we duped? Do we get easily duped? Because I think anyone that reads any politician, especially one with her background, with her trajectory, anyone that looks at someone like that and assumes that their heel turn is born out of a sincere desire to do right by her constituents is silly, I think. Maybe she's on mood stabilizers now. Sorry, I have borderline personality disorder. This was the reason why I was infatuated with Jewish space lasers. Now that I am on beta blockers and mood stabilizers, I have decided that I no longer care about that. I have realized that I care about the welfare of my constituents. Also, I have broken up with my boyfriend, the alcoholic guy whose face is so bloated that's on One American News Nation or one of those networks. I forget what it's called. I am no longer having sex with him. She's a National Socialist? No, she's not.
It shows that 47% of Americans believe that President Trump and the Republicans are mainly responsible for the shutdown. You see it here on the screen, compared to just 30% of Americans who blame Democrats. Of course, Republicans are the ones with the power. Do you agree?
New. Trump has called senior Republicans to ask what's going on with Marjorie. The answer, Marjorie Taylor Greene has become disillusioned with her party, especially after White House talked her out of a Senate bid. I am not some sort of blind slave to the president. What the fuck? That's what it takes? God, this country is so ass, bro. It's just like petty vengeance, really? Because she did very clearly try to signal to the establishment Republicans that like she was trying to be better. Okay, she was trying to become like a more serious figure and not like Jewish space lasers, right? And what's interesting is I think those initiatives were not met with support by the Republicans, who just kind of know her as the Jewish space laser woman. So they basically were like, yeah, dude, shut up. You're fine. You're fine where you are. So now it feels like this makes more sense. It feels like in an interest of making herself a more prominent national figure and also backed by petty vengeance, she is putting her ear to the ground and, you know, making these kinds of statements that she knows will garner her support. Maybe not bipartisan support, but at least like these are the types of things that other Republicans would look at and go, you know what, that Marjorie is good. Actually, she's clearly fighting for me. And she also hates that, you know, Israel is dominating American politics or whatever, right? Like those are things that are popular, but those are things that Republicans don't say. The reason why they don't say it is because they know that it's popular and you're not supposed to say it, and you're supposed to just like shift people's priorities away to like transgender athletes or undocumented migrants doing mass rapes or something, right? That's what you're supposed to do if you're a Republican. It's not like these guys are oblivious to how fucking popular healthcare is, right? Like they know that. It's not like they're oblivious to how popular social safety nets are in general. Of course they know that. That's why they fight back against it tooth and nail. Especially once implemented, it is very difficult to whole cloth cancel social programs because people rely on them for survival. This is something that Donald Trump also had to recognize with the Obamacare situation, right? He was like, I'm going to cut Obamacare. I hate it. I hate it. And like, it was very unpopular when he tried to do that. So Republicans already know this. So I guess the reason why she's going unshackled mode here is probably to build her national profile for a senatorial run, and also to kind of do a fuck you to the Trump admin a little bit for not taking her seriously. Yo, where is your dog? She is out on a walk. She's out on her afternoon walk, as she usually goes on right around this time. But thank you for your consideration and your concern. I assume it's a sincerely held concern that you had.
Agree with Americans in that poll that see the shutdown as your party's fault?
You know what? I don't think the shutdown is popular for either side. And so I see the shutdown completely different from maybe my party leadership. And I'm not putting the blame on the president. I'm actually putting the blame on the speaker and Leader Thune in the Senate. This should not be happening. And I don't think, look, as a member of Congress, we already have a low enough job approval rating. This shutdown is just going to drive everybody's approval rating that much lower.
But so you're putting the blame on the leadership of your party?
Absolutely. We control the House. We control the Senate. We have the White House. I've been vocal saying, you can use the nuclear option in the Senate. This doesn't have to be a shutdown. But what we have to do is we have to work for the American people. And our country is so divided right now. We see it all the time in every single way. It's divided in what I would say very dangerous ways. And we saw that with the recent assassination of Charlie Kirk, which has upset so many people across the board. And look, when it comes to hearing from senior citizens or my own friends and neighbors and my own family members and people that voted for me, and they're just saying, Marjorie, we just really want somebody to do something about health insurance premiums. We really want our government and our leaders to actually focus on our country for a change and fix our problems. That is the message I constantly hear from my district, and I'm a representative. I don't have to be a cheerleader for my party. I have to represent my district because those are the people that hired me and sent me here. And I myself, I agree with them, and I'm pretty much over it's just drama constantly on TV. No offense, because you guys are on television, but that's all that we see in American politics now.
You know, there's reporting that President Trump, as you know, recently called at least two.
Bro, this is so weird, dude. This is actually so weird. This is demonic. This is the most demonic thing that she's done. I'm sorry. Like, if I were to hear her, deny the Holocaust or something, I'd be like, that tracks. This is far, far stranger. This is the strangest thing that Marjorie Taylor Greene has ever done. I don't understand it, and it's freaking me out. She is not only making sense, but she's also speaking clearly, slowly, in a coherent manner. I don't know what's happening. I've always been very skeptical of these sorts of figures, as you guys know. This is weirding me the fuck out, dude. Is this Jank's doing? Is that what happened? Like, Jank just kept talking to her over and over again, and then she was just like, I am overcome by your sexual charisma. Chunky Waggart, you are a sexual panther. Shaky Gurga, I cannot say your name, but everything you have told me, both in private and also on camera, has made me feel some type of way. That's a good one. I am beguiled with your Ottoman sexuality. It's just weird because, where was this? Okay. where was this? You don't expect a LeBron performance with Tony Snell. If you have a game like that, you're like, how did that happen? How did this happen? You don't expect White Mamba to play like Kobe. This is strange. Did she get hit with the Havana syndrome, Ray, or something? What the fuck? Is there, because here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing. We know that there's the gun that makes you stroke out and become pro-Israel, okay? The John Fetterman Ray, as they call it. But this means that there is a gun that makes you anti-Israel as well. There's a stroke gun that works in the opposite direction, which is a welcomed surprise. Is it like a Chinese gun or something? Is that what it is? It's the gun that makes you Chinese. Like she got hit with the woke gun, the Judeo-Bolshevik space laser, dude. Yeah, she did. No, she's definitely the type of person who fucking hates Israel, but then also will say like, the Bolsheviks were responsible for the death of 60 million Christians. You know, like I wouldn't be shocked if I heard something like that from her. Why does no one talk about the crimes of the Bolshevik? It's called literature. I don't think she's capable of reading or writing. I don't think Marjorie Taylor Greene is literate. She isn't woke, and I'm mad you ever said that. Man, calm down. We're fucking memeing, okay? Jesus Christ. It is a strange attitude shift, though, I will admit.
Senior Republicans to ask, and I'm quoting now from these reports, what's going on with Marjorie, end quote. Have you talked to the president about this issue? It's obviously so personal for you.
Well, you know, the president has my cell phone number, and he's called me many, many times. So if he wants...
Recently? How recent?
I don't get into that kind of...
Ooh, she said recently. She said, I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, I saw this. This is funny. I met Hasan Piker once. He offered me a scoop of ice cream, but when I reached out to take it, he took it away and started doing tricks with the ice cream and a long rod. He kept offering it, then faking out. I never got my ice cream. Do not trust this man. It's true. It's a part of my Turkish culture. I'm sorry. If you think that this is inappropriate, then you don't understand. This is something that I have to do. And it is Turkophobia to criticize me for doing that.
Details, but he knows how to call me and he can ask me himself. But here's the deal. There's also this, and I'm not blaming you guys, but there is a...
I think she wants attention from daddy a little bit too.
Media narrative trying to say that I don't support the president. I absolutely support the president. I campaigned for him for years. But I'm also an action person, and I want my party to solve problems.
And you say he's not getting good advice, though. You told Manu Raju. What specifically?
Well, I don't think it's good advice that a government shutdown is going to help Republicans in the midterms. I don't agree with that. I also don't think it's good advice that Republicans ignoring the health insurance crisis is going to be good for midterms.
I have started reading Bakunin and Gramsci and Carlos Marx. I have learned the ways of the International Consortium of Capital and the grand design that they have of exploitation. I have realized that we must abolish the commodity form. We must do away with the extraction of surplus labor value. What the capital owner calls profits, I call exploitation. There are more of us than there are of them.
I actually think that would be very bad for midterms. And I think that just not staying focused on America First policies is detrimental as well.
Yeah, and on that note, are you concerned about the cost of living?
Very.
That the President Trump said he would lower?
The inflation crushed people in the past 4.5 years, and the costs have not come down. I myself can tell you my apartment here in Washington, D.C., the electricity bill is $100 more than it was last year, because you can look at your own bill and look at cost. Prices have not come down. That is a reality. People's wages have not gone up. That's another reality. And so Americans are continuing to have a very difficult time getting by.
It's not really that complicated why she's doing this. She's an opportunist and understands that any publicity is good publicity. Yeah, except if she can understand that this is like good commentary, okay? if she can understand that this is like garnering support for her, then why the fuck can't the Democrats? Because in a world where Marjorie Taylor Greene is like, we must protect the subsidies that help Americans pay their insurance premiums that have skyrocketed due to unlimited greed from capital owners that are a parasitic force on American society, then Democrats should also be like, yeah, we have to do fucking free healthcare. Like, we have to do Medicare for all. What the fuck? It's genuinely not just that she's an opportunist. I think it's crazy she's going this far with the message. Yeah, she's going ham. And no, I don't think she's outflanking the Democrat leadership with these kinds of sentiment, But I do think that she is outflanking everyone in the Republican Party. That is a certainty. But I don't, yeah, you look at Wolf. He's like, did you stroke out? Like, what's going on? Look at his face. He's in utter disbelief. Like, for her, I understand why she would take a anti-Israel position, right? The starting point could have even been like, anti-Semitism, or truly could have been the fact that like she is like horrified by everything that Israel has done. Now, I think it's a bit of both. And the reason why I think it's a bit of both is because she was so invested in the QAnon stuff not to be like, at least still have like some remnant dormant anti-Semitism swirling around in there. Like, she was literally the QAnon congressperson, right? So it's got to be positive CTE moment. Oh my God. Yeah, she slammed her head on the roof of the gym while she was doing fucking muscle ups. And then she just kept going and going and going. This is a remarkable change of pace. I didn't watch this yesterday because I was like, who gives a shit about what Marjorie Taylor Greene has to say? Turns out I was wrong. I do give a shit about what Marjorie Taylor Greene has to say because this is Marxist Tito Guevara that's speaking now.
And I'll go a step further. I'm a mom. And so when it comes to what is affecting my adult children's lives who are 22, 26, and 28, I'm going to be 1,000% fighting for them over any politician and any party. And I can tell you right now, that generation, they are barely making it, and they're very hopeless for their future.
So you're a mom first, a politician second.
That's right. I'm a mom first.
That's good to hear.
So I want to just ask you also about another issue you've been really outspoken about, and of course that is the Jeffrey Epstein files, wanting to release those. I know Democrats have also been calling for that, a few other Republicans as well. The Democrats are accusing Speaker Johnson of delaying the swearing in of Arizona's Democratic Congresswoman-elect because she would give the last vote needed to release those Epstein files. I'm wondering, the Speaker, for his part, he has denied that. He said it's because of the shutdown.
She's like, I have been watching alongside my children this new Twitch channel. Do you know what Twitch is? It's where they play Fortnite, but one of the guys talks about politics. Now, I know he's in some hot water right now because people are saying he abuses his dogs. Having said that, I, as also a dog abuser, actually like him even more now. And I have been watching him, and he has been talking a lot of truths.
Have you spoken to him? Do you think she should be sworn in right away?
Well, I'll say it like this. I can't conclusively say if that's why the House is not in session, but the House should be in session. And the House should be in session for many reasons. We have appropriation bills that need to get passed. There is a new Democrat that's been elected that does deserve to be sworn in. Her district elected her. We have other bills that we need to be passing. And if it's to avoid the discharge petition, why drag this out? That is going to have 218 signatures. And so I say go ahead and do it and get it over with.
Mm-hmm.
The big news that we're all following right now is obviously the ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas and Gaza, and the hostage deal that all the remaining Israeli hostages, dead and alive, will be allowed to go back to Israel. President Trump says he might be going to the region as early as this Friday. He wants to be there when this historic moment unfolds. He wants to witness this, talk to his aides, talk to the Israelis, talk to the Palestinians as well. Do you have any concerns at all that this deal could still, God forbid, fall apart?
I don't know. I certainly applaud the president. This has been one of the issues that I've campaigned on and talked about constantly. I'm very much against America's involvement in foreign wars. And the president has worked very hard on this. However, we have to see Israel and Hamas, both sides, truly cement this agreement. But I certainly hope for all involved that this definitely is a peace deal that will remain.
We all hope that, yeah.
And on July 28th, you talked about that. You said, quote, it's the most truthful and easiest thing to say that October 7th in Israel was horrific and that all hostages must be returned. But so is the genocide, humanitarian crisis, and starvation happening in Gaza. On that note, when it comes to the genocide, I mean, do you believe that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is a war criminal?
I don't know if I can accuse him of being a war criminal.
Oh.
However, well, let's just say both.
Boo, you literally have said he is conducting a genocide. Come on. Boo, so close. Boo.
Issues are bad. That's why I said that. What happened on October 7th is absolutely horrific. And of course, our hearts go out to those families and those hostages that remain. But at the same time, the relentless bombing of the Palestinian people, and many of them have been just innocent people. They're not Hamas. They're literally women and children, and you can't unsee the amount of pictures and videos of children that have been blown to pieces and are they're finding them dead in the rubble. That isn't, those aren't actors. That isn't fake war propaganda. It's very real, and I think that is equally horrific.
It's not equally horrific. It's far more horrific. That's crazy. It's far larger in scale. It's just not. Anyway, obviously, I mean, she's a Republican, so my expectations on this are limited. What is interesting is that, like, there is a recognition of the genocide. Hasan shocked his dog. I wonder what this guy thinks he's doing in here, where it's like he just spams this, and then people that are fucking sit in here and watch me interact with Kaya for like 8 hours a day are gonna be like, wait a minute, what? Yeah, if you spam a little bit more, I think you'll be able to convince people in here. But what's interesting is they didn't force her to say it isn't a genocide. No, they volunteered that it's a genocide. That's what I'm saying. Like, here, look.
It's the most truthful. And July 28th, you talked about that. You said, quote, it's the most truthful and easiest thing to say that October 7th in Israel was horrific and that all hostages must be returned. But so is the genocide, humanitarian crisis, and starvation happening in Gaza. On that note, when it comes to the genocide, I mean, do you believe that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is a war criminal?
I don't know if I can.
Like, oh, she's just quoting her. I guess that's like, you know.
Pictures and videos of children that have been blown to pieces and are they're finding them.
Something else that a quote, foreign government or powerful people may try to kill you. Republican Senator Ted Cruz of Texas shared that post of yours on X, writing, quote, why do crazy people keep thinking the Jews are trying to kill them? What do you say to Cruz, and what did you mean by that?
Well, first, that was an extremely ridiculous thing for Ted Cruz to say. I never said Jewish people. I'm not anti-Semitic. I don't hate any people.
Okay, well, that's tough to believe. I came here to watch you shock your dog. You're a freak, dude. I hate to disappoint you. I actually did, though. Look, I shocked her so much, she's burnt to a crisp. Do you see? Fiona, come here. Come here. Fifi, come here. Look at that. Hi. No. Fiona has the opposite the opposite interest of being on camera. She hates the camera and avoids it, whereas Kaya loves being on camera. Hello, Fifi. I shocked her so hard she got burned to a crisp. You see? Look. Hi. Okay, you can go back. You can go lay down again. It's fine. Shocked her so hard the dog changed. Yeah. Wow. Killed Kaya. Now he wants to kill another dog. Yeah. Shocked the hair off of her. That's what. Yeah, it turns out I was lying this whole time, actually. Kaya is not 120 pounds. She's like actually that tiny. But because I zapped her so hard, all of her hair flew off. And now you know how tiny she actually is. It was all just fur that made her look so big. Is Fiona good with you holding her? No. She hates being picked up. She is also the opposite of Kaya in that way as well. Where Kaya does not mind being picked up. She loves being picked up, even though she's 120 pounds. Fiona does not fuck around. She does this thing where she will like tense up You be nice to Fiona. She's a sweetie. No slander. No, I love Fiona. Are you kidding me? Fiona has Hasan derangement syndrome confirmed. No, she loves me. She loves me more than Murad. You know what? It just hit me. People made this up because they can't call you a terrorist for supporting Palestine anymore. No, I think they still do that. A lot of people have been still calling me a terrorist while also saying like HasanAbi is a dog abuser. I think they just realized that most people don't give a fuck about that because everyone's position has shifted so dramatically that this is like a way broader way to tackle the issue. This is a thing that like white women get really on board with.
People group for their identity or who they are. So that was unbelievably low for a sitting U.S. senator to say that. But what I'm talking about is very real. I have a tremendous amount of death threats. It's documented. I have some of the highest amount of death threats as a sitting member in the House of Representatives. And when you speak about certain issues, we can watch the calls and the emails and the messages. They increase and the threats increase. And so when I say I am seriously concerned for my life, and I say if something ever happens to me, I really mean it. It's okay for me to say that. This is the time that we're living in where we're seeing political violence, and I'm totally against it completely in every which way. But when I say something like that, and to have another Republican of my own party insult me and insinuate I'm saying something I never said is absolutely unacceptable.
Right. And I know a lot of members of Congress are getting threats,
Absolutely.
which is, we can't tolerate that. But when you say the foreign government or powerful people, who specifically were you alluding to there?
I'm saying anyone, any foreign government, any people of power. I'm talking about the Epstein list. This has been the most, I don't understand why. I genuinely do not understand why there's been any effort to hide this and prevent it from coming out.
Really?
But because of the effort.
You don't understand why? I mean, I know she's just saying that, but I can think of a few reasons. I understand why.
For years now to hide it and prevent it from coming out, it certainly makes you feel afraid when you're one of the ones truly on the front lines pushing it to come out. I also serve on the Oversight Committee, and we're leading that investigation there, so I'm involved on both fronts. The Oversight Committee investigation, as well as my signatures on the discharge petition.
And you don't think Oversight's doing enough then on that?
Actually, to tell you the truth, the Oversight investigation has the power to go much further than Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna's resolution.
But they're not doing that. Why do you think that is, in your view?
Actually, well, number one, there's a government shutdown and the House is not in session, so nothing is happening. But actually, the Oversight Committee has subpoenaed.
Like, she's so prim. Am I fucking crazy? Like, why is she so well put together? I just don't even, I don't understand it. Like, it's not, even on the aesthetic front, like, sure, the things that she's saying are strange, but even the way she's communicating is also different. It makes no sense. She's not like being a loudmouth and fucking brash. And why is she kind of, stop? Come on, guys. Jesus Christ. You need to go to jail. You need to go to horny jail right now, dude. Oh my God. Post-breakup glow hits different. Everybody stop it. Please stop. Stop.
A lot more information than Thomas Massie's resolution specifically calls for. But here's my stance. I'll work on this involves women who were raped. Women at 14 years old who were raped. And they say there's more people involved. I don't know how anyone in their good conscience can be against letting that information come out. So I want to help on any front that I can.
You're a courageous politician, but more important, a loving mother. Thanks very much.
Why is Wolf just fucking going to town on MTG here, by the way? Like, Wolf Blitzer literally worked for AIPAC, okay? He was an AIPAC PR guy. The person who he is sitting across from, unironically, has said some of the most anti-Semitic shit that you have ever heard from any modern day representative, okay? I don't even think that there's any confusion there. I think that there's no competition. Like, Marjorie Taylor Greene, I think, has said some of the most insanely anti-Semitic shit I've ever heard. Now, having said that, I know that's not like a big problem for a lot of people in the media as long as you're pro-Israel, right? But now she's also anti-Israel. So what the fuck am I looking at? What's my expectation here? What am I supposed to expect from a guy who worked for AIPAC? Because like anti-Semitism is not an issue for these guys at all as long as you are still very much pro-Israel. But being anti-Israel, now that's a real problem. And they are being so nice. I don't understand it.